Grand Rising, beautiful souls. I trust you're all doing super well today. I'm Alice. Welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back to my YouTube channel. I want to talk to you today about journaling and how it can be a really powerful tool for understanding how you feel, untangling the emotions that you're having, and it is an excellent tool to guide you through healing from depression and anxiety. I personally have been journaling my thoughts, ideas, emotions every single day since the 1st of January 2023. It was a goal that I set for myself back then, and I was determined to form a healthy habit to help me lift myself out of the dire straits that my headspace was in, and I stuck to it every single day. And now I can honestly say that the person who stands before you is a product of that journaling. Journaling has really helped me to unravel the mysteries of my mind that were completely detrimental to me getting anything done, accomplishing any of my goals, or becoming successful in any way, shape, or form. Prior to starting my journaling journey, I spent a good handful of years being very volatile. I harbored very unhealthy negative thoughts about myself, the people around me, my life. I got jealous very easily. I would snap at people, and I was basically getting out of bed every day like a loaded gun. And for the longest time, I couldn't understand why I was being such a miserable, difficult person. And I started to question why I don't really have a circle of friends anymore. And I started to question why I'm not really succeeding at things, why I'm struggling to build rapport with new people, and why do I feel so negatively about myself? What have I done to upset myself? Why am I not understanding myself? Why am I feeling so lost and sad and anxious all of the time, no matter what I did? So I started doing two things in 2022. The first thing was I would wake up first thing. I had a dog then, so that helped me to form the habit, because the first thing that she needed from me was to go outside so she could relieve herself. And what I would normally do, I would wake up, immediately put on some clothes and some shoes, and I would take her outside, and I would just stand in the doorway while she went off and did the biz, and then she would come back in, and then I would start my day. So what I started doing instead was I would go out with her, and I would go and walk out into nature. And I made a point of not uttering a word until I was outside. Through this habit alone, I realized that previously what I had been doing was the moment I would wake up, I would go, oh, I'm awake. Oh, I hate this. I hate my life. I hate myself. I hate the fact that I'm awake. Why am I awake? This sucks. This is awful. I hate it. And I would have this tantrum every day from the moment I woke up. My brain wasn't even in gear yet. And yet I was setting myself up just to completely fail that day. So one of these two things that I did to change was I would go outside, regardless of the dog or not. I was going outside. I would wake up and I would immediately go outside, and I would keep my mouth shut until I got outside. And then I would say to myself, I feel, fill in the blank. I feel this. I feel that. I feel angry. I feel upset. I feel frustrated. I feel tired. I feel. And I would keep going until I ran out of things that I'm feeling. After doing that, just that alone, for maybe a week, 2 weeks, I realized that I found myself saying the same things each day. And for me personally, the word that kept coming up was the word frustrated. I feel frustrated. I didn't realize I felt frustrated. And then, of course, that gave way to another thought process a few weeks after doing this. Oh, so that's why I'm snappy with people. I'm struggling to make new friends. I'm just not really getting anything done in my days, it's because I feel frustrated. I feel like I'm up against something. I feel like I'm up against myself all the time. And so this is something that I realised about myself. For you, your word might not be frustrated. It might be angry. It might be sad. It might be depressed. It might be anxious. It might be something else. I mean, hopefully it's none of those negative things. But if it is, then at least this is a really good exercise to help you to understand how you're feeling when you may not have recognized it previously. Now this brings me to the journaling. So I had been doing this for some time, going outside in nature, not saying a word until I get outside, and then doing the I feel exercise. And then I thought, what if I did this same exercise in the evening as well? But I wrote it down, so I do it in a different format. Same exercise, but if I do it at the end of the day before I go to sleep, then perhaps I can recognize how I felt first thing in the day and then how I feel at the end of the day and see if it's changed. That was my logic for beginning this process. So I got myself a little notepad, a nice pen that I enjoyed writing with, and I started doing that every night before I went to bed. I would just sit in bed with my notepad and pen, and I would just write down any thoughts that I had for the end of the day. I discarded the I feel, and instead I just wrote whatever was in my head. I just wrote it down, and after a week or two of writing down my thoughts and my emotions every night before sleep, I realized that I was waking up and then doing my I feel exercise, and I wasn't saying I'm frustrated anymore. It only took maybe a month maximum. I still remember that day. I'm actually starting to feel a little bit emotional talking about it because that was a very poignant day for me. That was the day that I felt that I had actually achieved something, and I had done it. I had achieved that through mindfulness, through recognizing that I was struggling and I was suffering. I found two things to do: walking outside first thing when I wake up and I feel, and then journaling my thoughts and my feelings before I went to sleep. And just from doing those two things, that one rising, I went outside and I said, I feel, and I remember I hesitated because I started to say frustrated because at that point I'd got used to saying it, but I hesitated because I suddenly felt not frustrated. And I thought, if I say frustrated, it's not right. It's not right to say that. And then I said, I feel okay. And I will always remember that. That was the day that I recognized that I had changed myself for the better. And I knew that that was going to be the first step on my road to recovery. And I was absolutely right, because now here we are, January 2024, and I kept that exercise up every single day from the 1st of January 2023. Because when I recognized that these two exercises were working, I set the goal for myself. Well, throughout 2023 then, from the 1st of January to December 31st, I am going to do this every single day because this is good and healthy for me. And I did. Since then, I have become overwhelmingly successful in my life. I owe it to those two things. Those two things are not the only things that I did, but it's where I started, and it's where you can start as well. So get yourself a journal and a nice pen that you really enjoy writing with, something that can flow with your thought, and start journaling every night before you go to sleep. Just write down whatever is in your head. Write down whatever it is that you're feeling. If you're feeling really optimistic and you're feeling, full of passion, write that down. If you're feeling full of woe and you're feeling depressed and anxious and fed up, write that down. It doesn't matter. Just write down what you're feeling, get it out and onto paper. And then when you wake up first thing in the rising, go outside. If you don't have the opportunity to go outside, open a window. Just get some fresh air. Go and stand in your backyard. If you do have access to nature, get some shoes on and go on out. Don't utter a word. Do not pick up your phone. Straight outside. And when you first start, you're probably not going to want to do it, but you've got to be a good parent to yourself and you've got to make yourself go out there, because this does work. I absolutely swear by it. I feel until you run out of things that you're feeling. And just saying it out loud really unburdens you for the day. It helps you to understand how you're feeling so that you're not going off out into the world each day like a loaded gun. So get yourself off out into nature, get journaling, have a wonderful rest of your day. You deserve it. Remember that you are important and you are worthy of everything that you desire. And I will see you in the next one.